Do you dread the possibility that your students may look bored like this? When you wish they always looked interested like this? There are things you can do to make that wish come true. Motivation, the intent to learn, is one of our single most important propellants of learning. Now, motivation is a state within the learner. You can't make a student be motivated any more than you can make him be hungry. But what you can do is change conditions in the environment so he'll be more apt to eat. You can serve his favorite food in an appetizing way with agreeable companions, and you're increasing the probability that he's going to eat. In the next 2 modules, you'll learn 5 factors that you can change in the environment that will increase the probability that your students will exert effort to learn. You'll also know the psychological theory that undergirds those factors so you can use them on purpose. The first factor is the level of concern about the learning. How concerned is the learner? Concern is not necessarily undesirable. It can be benign and growth-evoking, or it can be malignant and destructive. This graph will show you the effects that concern can have on intent to learn. How concerned are you about basket weaving? Probably not very. So how much are you learning about basket weaving? Probably not much. No concern, no learning. Suppose I say, I'm really surprised. Don't you know that basket weaving is positively correlated with mastery teaching? Basket weaving, you say? What does that have to do with it? All you do is you go in and out and in and out. Oh, of course, you've got to assemble your materials first, and you do have to plan for teaching. And if you have a pattern, why, it gets more complex. Notice that because you're concerned over my statement, you're now talking about basket weaving and learning about it. And suppose I say, and incidentally, as a result of seeing this series, you're going to have to weave a basket. Weave a basket, you say? A bumblefingers like me? But you may be reading about basket weaving, asking somebody about it. You may even enroll in a class in basket weaving, if that's what you're going to have to do. And then if I say, and incidentally, your basket is going to be judged by experts, and if it doesn't pass, you won't have a job next year. Now you're really concerned about basket weaving. But notice what happens to your energy, your intent to learn. Part of it is going into basket weaving, but a great deal of it is being diverted into your anxiety, reassuring yourself that there's no reason you can't weave a basket. Other people weave a basket. Now, this very simple example gives you the generalization of the relationship of motivation to concern. No concern, no motivation. A little concern, more motivation. But you can get to a point where you become so concerned that your energy is diverted away from the learning into anxiety and hostility. You can have not enough concern, or you can have too much concern. Let's watch these teachers as they raise and lower students' concern about their learning.
Ich habe ein Problem.
Mark has learned to use concern so students achieve success.
Gut. Sie kaufen keine Zigaretten.
Because if it's a difficult point, I don't want to call on them individually right away, because if it's difficult, the chances are they're not going to be able to say it right, which means they're going to start hearing wrong answers. The other people in the group will hear wrong answers, and the person who says the wrong thing is, depending on the personality, might feel totally humiliated or at least just stupid. So I like to give them a chance to practice it where they have the security of the group. No one's going to be listening to them because they're saying it themselves. And then after they practice it a couple times, then I can call on them individually. And they can usually do it.
Let me begin by describing the final to you. And I'll fit this exercise we're going
Final exams cause concern.
into your preparation
Bob
for
lets
the
his
final.
students know what is expected of them.
One of the things you'll be
But at
doing
the
is
same
writing
time,
a short
notice how
criticism
he
essay.
reassures them of their competence.
You will be looking at a piece of rhetorically figured prose, finding the rhetorical figures, identifying them. You'll be reading a letter full of argumentative fallacies and identifying them, finally, for this final, you'll be looking at a piece of official style and identifying official style characteristics in the piece. Real easy for you. Sure, I've read your Christensen essays already and you got that part of the final whipped.
Vote thumbs up if you think this is a correct sentence.
Tom calls on a student who
Thumbs down if you
isn't
think it
signaling
breaks
his
the
answer
parallelism.
to let him know he too is accountable for participation.
Kevin, what do you think?
I think it's faulty parallelism.
And what's faulty about it?
Okay, mix around and the people in the back come in front. We're almost to the end. There's just one more measure. Move up.
In many classes, the less sure students
Okay,
retreat
ready?
to the back.
2,
By
3,
moving them to the front,
4,
Susan
step
raises their level of
together, step
concern,
together,
but she's
sing,
right there to
together,
give them help.
Jump, leg up, lunge.
I'd like all of you now just to see if you can write a sentence, one sentence in that way, and then we'll compare notes. And remember again, as I've said before, there's not going to be one absolutely straight, sound answer that's true.
Pat
Poems
requires
are open in
each
many
student
ways
to
interpret
commit
it.
him or
So
herself
as
in
you
writing,
see it,
but lowers concern
What
by
is it?
assuring them there is no one correct answer. In each of these episodes, you saw teachers changing the level of concern so students would exert more effort to learn.